I'm waiting for the logo. Hello, beautiful people. This is RC Woods with Smoking Guns Podcast. And I don't know if you can tell in my excitement, but I'm super excited with my two guests today. So we have here Miss Melinda and we have Miss Kathy. So Miss Melinda, I'll let you introduce yourself and who you are.
I am Melinda Mollette, and my son is Alex Mollette, who's the center for the Brahmas.
And
all right, thank you.
I'm Kathy Wing, and I'm checking in all the way from Australia, and my son is Brad Wing, the punter.
Well, thank you again, ladies, for coming. Now, I know this Sunday, these two players connected on the field for a touchdown. So I want to ask you, how did that come about? Like, what were you thinking when you first heard about it?
Well, we were actually at the game. So we were about, thankfully, sitting right between the 10 and 15-yard line where he caught it. And we were about 4 rows up. And sadly, I wasn't even really paying attention because I thought it was a timeout. I thought they were kicking a field goal. So I was looking at my phone, and then everybody started to cheer. I thought, what in the world? And I looked up right as he caught it, and I was like,
oh, wow.
Oh my gosh, is there another? Because in college, there were 255s on the team. So I thought,
oh, really?
Is that Alex? And then we realized it was, and my daughter and I were just like, oh my gosh. Because he's joked about this for probably a decade, wanting one of his coaches to call a trick play where he could catch the ball. And they're always kind of like, I don't know. And it was just a dream come true for him. We were so excited.
Yeah.
Okay. And Miss Kathy, how did you hear about it?
Well, we couldn't catch the games here. We don't have any coverage of the UFL for those games here. So my phone started going off at 4:30 in the morning, and I thought,
4:30 in the morning? Is that the time difference in Australia?
Yeah, and so you always panic when you have a child that lives overseas and your phone's going off at 4:30. And then we started getting all videos sent to us, and it was just really cool. I mean, I was just really impressed with Brad, how he just kind of took the time and he went back, and it almost looked like he was a quarterback for 3 seconds of that game, you know. And then when I didn't know Alex until he caught it, it was really cool just to see him break those players away and cross the plane. It was really cool. I have watched it probably 100 times, and I still get tingles every time I watch it.
Oh, that's so sweet. I know we were at the game also, and I kind of thought, like you, Miss Melinda, what's going on here, right? And I'm like, what? He's throwing the ball, you know, like punter turn into quarterback, and then center turn into receiver, you know. So it was a great experience for us being there. Everybody was cheering. And as soon as that play happened, my brain started working like, I got to get these moms on. It would be great to have their opinion. So I'm going to start with some questions about them growing up. So can you tell me a little bit about how they started? I know playing football, Miss Melinda.
Well, he started in 2nd grade, and within a span of 5 years, I had 3 boys, and he's right in the middle of the 3. Wow. So it was always really wild and crazy and chaotic at our house. But he, at one point in time, all 3 of them played football, but he's the only one who played from 2nd grade all the way through college and now professional. And he started out in defense, and then the bigger he got, the more it made sense for him to be an offensive lineman. So that's what he's been doing since high school.
So can I ask, how much did he weigh when he was born?
He really wasn't even my biggest kid.
Oh, no?
The son that I had after him was like 9 pounds, 2 ounces. Alex was only 8 pounds, 9 ounces. But as he grew, he was always in the 95th percentile, you know, for height and weight. And even as young as, I think, pre-K, I remember his teacher saying, he's so helpful. He always helps me lift heavy things around the classroom. So his teachers have been asking him to lift heavy stuff, as has my husband when he was finishing the basement. So he's always been our muscle.
Well, I asked that because my daughter was 9 pounds, 1 ounce, but as a 25-year-old, she's a size 4. So they called her sticks growing up. So you never can tell when they're born, right?
I don't know.
And how about you, Miss Kathy? Tell me the little history about how he got into punting. Did he play football in Australia?
Yeah. So we don't play American football in Australia. There's just one small league. We play what's called AFL, so Australian Football League. So like the NFL, but the Australian Football League. And instead of the game being relied on by passing and receiving, it's always kicking. So that's why a lot of the Australians are very accurate with their kicks, because they have to kick to their opponent to catch it rather than throw. So Brad started when he was, we have like what we call Oz kick for little tackers. I guess he was 5. And my husband has always played football. He was a professional footballer in Australia for our AFL league. And Brad always had an exceptional leg. Like when he was 9, he was kicking the ball 50 yards. It was just,
at 9 years old?
He could always kick the ball really, really long. So he just like had a talent there. And then I guess he just toned in on it. So he played always in the position at the front of the field where he would need to kick the goals and score for the team. So they're generally where you've got to poise and line up and kick it as far as you can. So that's his history of football there. And then he went to America as an exchange student when he was 18. So he packed his bags and left Australia. And
that's brave.
Yeah, very, very brave. That's what we say to people they don't understand. And then just went and lived with a family in Baton Rouge and played for Parkview. That was his first American football game. And then on his 6th game, Les Miles' wife saw him kick at a game and went home and told her husband, and then he signed with LSU not long after. So his first game at LSU was kind of like his 10th football game ever of American football. It's just a crazy story.
That is a crazy story. And actually, 6 years ago, when I was doing the podcast for the Commanders, we also had a punter. His name was Joe Zima, I think it was. And his mom was also in Australia. So you're my second mom from Australia. So there's a truth to something about those kickers.
Yeah, absolutely. There's quite a few. I think there's 2 or 3 now in the NFL, and there's so many in college in that position. And it's just for that reason, because we grew up kicking the ball, whereas you guys grow up throwing the ball. That's why the Australians do it a little bit better.
Well, Brad's on.
What's the name that you call the actual football? Because it's different than what we call
Aussie rules, we call it. See, some people, a lot of Americans think, they say, oh, rugby. That's a completely different game. It's like saying soccer and football. It's not the same. So we call it Aussie rules. So when you're talking about football that Brad grew up playing, and all of the ones that are in the NFL and in college, they play Aussie rules.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the boys growing up, and whoever wants to go first. Was he a good kid? Was he kind of studious? You tell me.
You can go first, Melinda, and I'll see how much you incriminate Alex, and then I'll know how to follow.
Well, he was a middle child. And so he was always the peacemaker. He was not terribly aggressive. So when he started playing football, we thought maybe he's not mean enough to be an offensive lineman, because he was so social. He always got along with everybody. When they were little, he was the best one at sharing with his brothers. And so, yeah, he got in trouble for maybe talking too much in school, but that was about it.
Okay. Yeah. Miss Kathy?
Well, Brad, I have 2 boys, and Brad's the eldest, and he gave us some work. He never really liked school. Brad, very smart, like always an A-grade student, but just school just wasn't his thing. He liked the night and hated the morning, so it was always a chore to get him out of bed to get up to school. But look, he was a good kid, like just a boy growing up. He was pretty good. No arrests under 18, so that was positive.
Well, that's good. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
And so around what age or what grade did you realize, wow, my son is really talented?
I didn't. We remember, this is a true story. We were on the back of a golf cart driving through LSU on a parent tour when Brad had been offered the scholarship, going through all these amazing buildings and looking at all the facilities. And I remember leaning over to my husband, David, and saying, are we sure they want Brad? Like, is this really for Brad? So I knew he could kick the ball long, but I didn't realize he would have the type of career that he's managed to have.
Yeah, Alex was probably in 11th grade, and we were on a family vacation, and it was right at the time when the NCAA allowed coaches to contact players, and his phone was blowing up the entire time. And
in 11th grade?
Yeah, there were so many D1 coaches calling him, and we just thought, wow, there's a lot of interest in him at the Division I level. We were really blessed. I wouldn't say surprised, but
okay. So kind of tying it back to the Brahmas, can you talk a little bit how they both found out? Like, how did they get the call? Who called them that they were asked to come on to the Brahmas team?
You want to go, Melinda?
Sure. He played last year for the Houston Roughnecks, and there was a lot of uncertainty for a few months because there was a lot of rumors out there about which Houston team they were going to keep, whether it was the Roughnecks or the Gamblers. And so last fall, he wasn't really sure, but he stayed in touch with Coach Andre, who he really, really likes. And I think it was, I'm not sure, it might have been shortly after Coach Wade was named as the coach. They reached out to him, and he just adores this coaching staff. So he was really glad to be able to play for them again.
Oh, good.
And Brad was the punter for the Brahmas last year, of course. And he was drafted. You know, I remember him sitting there and like waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And, you know, they finally drafted him. So he was happy that, you know, Hines Ward, the connection with the Steelers there. But then this was a little different because they didn't name Brad until really 2 weeks before camp started. We're not sure whether they thought he wasn't going to come back, if he was going to stay in the NFL and get an opportunity with another team. But he was so happy to get the call and to be welcomed to the team. He loves it there. He just absolutely loves it.
Okay. So now going back to the family here, can you tell us the nickname that you have for each of the boys?
My husband used to call Brad Snow because he used to bleach his hair blonde, Brad, when he was like 15, 16. He'd have, you know, white hair. So my husband used to call him Snow. I really never had a nickname for him, but Brad would call him Snow sometimes. Oh, my husband, sorry, David.
When Alex
passed away?
Go ahead.
Sorry?
Did you say your husband passed away?
No, I said my husband, David. No.
Oh, I heard dead. I was like, what? Okay,
No,
I apologize. I'm sorry. Knock on wood. Didn't mean any of that. Okay.
I probably said
Next
Dave.
question.
It's the accent.
It may be the accent. Yes. Sorry about that.
You're right.
When Alex was an infant, his older brother was leaning over his crib, and he has these bright blue eyes, and so he was calling him B-Eyes. So for several years, I mean, even his my husband's sister, Aunt Susie, still sometimes teases him and calls him B-Eyes. So because we called him, and his brother called him B-Eyes for years, but he kind of outgrew that when he got to
B-Eyes. Okay, even though his eyes are blue, they call him B-Eyes. Okay. Yeah. How about, what would you say their role model was? It could be just outside of sports, or maybe a player.
Oh, wow.
I would say Brian Urlacher for the Chicago
Bears. I'm from Chicago, so I know that name.
Yeah, he really.
There was a player in our football team, our Australian rules, that Brad liked. His name was Wayne Carey. He was a phenomenal footballer. Like he's as famous in Australia in that field as probably what Tom Brady is over there. So Brad kind of really admired him when he was growing up, and I kind of admired him as well. My second son has his name. It's Thomas Carey, named after that footballer, which he hates. But I'd say that would have been Brad's Wayne Carey.
Nice. Now, you had mentioned, Miss Kathy, that your husband played professional ball over there in Australia.
Yeah, so he played Aussie rules. But then he also signed with the Detroit Lions many years ago and did a pre-camp with them when Brad was maybe 5 or 6, I think. But then he never went through. And then he played for the NFL European League. I'm not sure if you know about that league that they started many years ago. So Dave played for the Detroit Lions. It was hilarious. He was playing for Detroit, but they were in Scotland, Edinburgh. That's where the home team was.
Wow. That's a great story. So going back to the family, what would you say is like his comfort dish that you make for him? Like maybe he's having a bad day, or maybe he didn't do so well at a game. What would you make him, and then that would kind of perk him up?
Probably that's a pasta dish with chicken and pesto and Alfredo sauce. I think that's one of his favorites.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Brad, when I go there, because Brad hasn't been having home cooked meals since he was 18 and he's 33, he just wants me to cook anything that I cook him when I visit is comforting. But when he was growing up, probably pasta too, after a football game or a bad day, a big dish of pasta, chicken pasta.
Okay. So besides this,
maybe that's the connection with Alex and Brad, the chicken pasta.
yeah, there's a lot of similarities. So besides this catch that occurred on Sunday, what would be your favorite football moment that you had with him?
The most proud I was of Brad in his entire career is his re-signing with the Steelers only a few months ago. Nothing, just to see his journey and the adversity, and to come back. And the game, I think he played against the Houston Texans, was his first game back when he was filling in for their injured punter. That was the proudest. My heart was bursting that particular time. All the other years didn't matter. That was the most amazing thing, to see that full circle of life. Back with Tomlin, back with the Steelers, back with Danny Smith, and just to see him walk out on that field, that was very heartwarming.
That was your proud mama moment?
That was definitely, that is the one that will stay in my mind forever.
Great.
I would say when he finished college, his senior night at college, they recognized each one of the kids, and, just reflecting on his whole career, because he got to stay an extra year because of COVID. So he had a few extra memories, so I was really proud of him.
Okay. Now, I want you to think, from all the years that you've been their mama, 3 words that would best describe your son.
Oh, golly. I can't go first on this one, Rhonda.
I would say big teddy bear. I mean, okay. I shouldn't say that because I'm sure he's much more aggressive on the field. But in real life, I mean, he's really just such a sweet person.
Okay, 2 more.
Oh, I thought big teddy bear was 3 words.
Oh, big teddy bear 3. Okay.
I thought you had a 3-word phrase.
Okay, if you want those 3 words, then that's fine. We'll take big teddy bear.
So Brad is, I know it's just a boring word, but very strong. I say that because, you imagine an 18-year-old getting on a plane with 1 suitcase and a dream and leaving everything he knows, everything normal, the cars on the right side of the road, like the food, and going to a place that's completely different. The only similarity is we speak the same language. We speak English. So to be able to do that and make that sacrifice, he's always been stronger than he gives himself credit for.
Okay.
He's also very funny. Like he's got a funny sense of humor. He's very quick-witted. He can light up a room, and I guess he's also charismatic. I would describe him as very charismatic as well.
Okay. So for all the ladies that are watching, can you give us some 411, single, married, kids?
Well, Brad is single.
Okay.
He has a son, Bentley, who's about to be 11, going on 35.
Okay.
Brad is 33 years old, but looks very young. He's always looked very, very young. So, yeah, any ladies, he needs someone sensible, someone a bit older, preferably that can cook and clean the house, because he's not very good at either.
Almost like a true mom.
Exactly, yeah.
She cooks, she cleans, we're good.
Yeah. So he's available. He's free. Just hit up his DMs on Instagram and say that your mum sent you.
Okay, ladies, you heard that.
Uh-oh, his phone's going to blow up now. Alex, on the other hand, he lives with his girlfriend in Raleigh, North Carolina. She's a softball coach at NC State. So, they've been together for, I think, 5 or 6 years now. And she's just wonderful. We love her to death. And they're both college athletes, so they have so much in common. This is kind of hard for them with him being out in Texas. And this is her busy season in North Carolina. But, they had to do some long distance before because she played softball at Indiana. And so they're used to it. And,
yeah, I think it helps if they're both in the same field, it does help because they understand. So that's really good.
Yeah.
And so you said he has 11-year-old son. Is that correct?
Yeah, Bentley. Yeah.
And where does he live? In
He
Australia
lives in
or
Baton
here?
Rouge. No. So Brad's ex-wife, they live in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He met his ex-wife in high school. So when he went there as an exchange student, they started dating in Brad's senior year. She was a junior. And then, so they ended up having Bentley when Brad was 21, quite young. So, but they have a great relationship. Even though they're divorced, they live not far from each other. They do a great job sharing the custody. It's 50-50. Of course, it's hard for Bentley at the moment, a bit like Alex, because he's away from his dad and he just loves his dad. But when we go in a couple of weeks, we'll grab him from Baton Rouge and bring him to stay for a couple of games so he gets to hang out with his dad and the team. And, of course, last year he rode on the bus and he went to all the team meetings and he was like the water boy. It was really cool. The team was exciting. So yeah, it was really, really good.
Okay, so what's the best part of being his mom?
We shouldn't have to think about this.
I mean, there's so many things. I mean, he's so funny and loving, and he's just a great person.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a hard question because, like Melinda said, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I'm just happy that he's mine. We've had ups and downs, and that's what that's what life is, but it's exacerbated when you're a professional athlete. Some people are really nasty than me, but I'm glad that I'm his mum. I'm glad that he was given to me, and it's been a learning relationship, but I wouldn't change anything.
Okay. So this is your 2-3 minutes to brag and say whatever you want about your son, to try to convince the fans of San Antonio to come out and watch them play. What would you tell? You have all of San Antonio. What would you tell them?
Well, first of all, the game is just so exciting. Like, I've been to a few NFL games, and this league is just really exciting because it connects you closer with the players. You don't feel like a spectator. You feel like you're actually part of the team. So I love the music, the lights. I love how you're closer to the players. They're interacting on the sidelines with the fans. So if you haven't seen a game, just get down there and have a look, because I don't need to sell Brad because the game sells itself. Once you get in there, it's really electric. Don't you agree, Melinda? It's a really great atmosphere. So yeah, and I mean, Brad's pretty good on the eye. He's nice to look at. So if there's any single girls,
he's very handsome. I will say he looks young. I will mention my daughter's going to kill me, but she is single and she's 25. She has her master's. She has her master's in sports management, so she's in the field. She's aware. So you never know.
Can she cook?
She can cook.
Good.
She can cook. Now she does know more Mexican dishes. But everyone loves tacos. Everyone loves a good taco.
Absolutely. Yeah. Brad has shares in Las Palmas in Baton Rouge, so that's going to work well.
Okay. You never know. We'll see.
And I would say this team has such fantastic energy. They've only been together for a couple of months and they've gelled so well. And it's just so cool to see them and how much fun it is. And so now that they know Alex can catch, I mean, who knows what kind of trick they might come up with,
Yeah. I wonder if this play is going to happen again, or more people going to be looking out for it,
Well, they didn't guard him the way they should have this Sunday. So I don't know if the future defense will make that same mistake. But.
Yeah. Now, Miss Kathy, you said this kind of happened before, correct? This fake play?
The what, sorry?
The fake play where he was going to punt, but
then... when Brad was at LSU, I think it might have been his final year, they lined up for a punt, and it was, I think, false start or whatever. They had to replay the down, and the center had said to Brad, or Brad's blocker, sorry, Brad, when you got the snap, did you notice all their backs were facing you. No one was even looking at you. They were already running down the field. He said, if it happens again, just go for it. Try and make the first down. The coach didn't know any of this. This is just between Brad and a guy called Chase. So, of course, he snapped the ball and no one was there. So Brad ran all the way down the field. I think it was 50 or 60. It was a long way. And went over the line and scored a touchdown, but they took it off for excessive celebration. So, yeah, that was his first ever touchdown. But this one at the Brahmas counted. So that makes it better.
Excessive celebration. What did he do?
He like flapped his wings, they said. He was running
He
towards.
used to be so silly.
Oh my God.
There was nothing, like there was a lot of controversy. I think it's had like quite a few million hits on YouTube because it was the first time they'd ever implemented that rule. They only brought that rule in, I think, a week before. And you can hardly see in fast time or in normal time, you hardly see, but he just crosses his arms like that, holding the ball as if to say, catch me, as he crosses the line. And they thought that was a bit excessive. He didn't dance. He didn't do anything like that, but it doesn't matter. They won anyway. So
yeah. There you go. And we won too. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
So sort of kind of wrapping things up a little bit. Can you tell me what are like maybe the top 2 songs in your playlist so we can kind of get to know a little bit more about you?
Oh, God. No, I can't.
Okay, what kind of music do you like, or your favorite artist?
I like it. I absolutely like it all. So that's I listen to the 80s. I listen to current stuff. I just don't like Taylor Swift. Sorry, Taylor.
Oh, you don't like her? Oh, we won't say anything. We won't say anything.
I tend to listen to a lot of country music. I think I've gotten that from Alex. But Cody Johnson has a song, Till You Can't, that is probably at the top of my list. And Luke Bryan, I believe most people are good. That's another one of my favorites. So probably country. Luke Combs, he's also one of my favorites.
I like a little bit of country. So hopefully y'all will be coming. I know probably Miss Melinda might come sooner than Miss Kathy, but I would love to take you all out for drinks. So what's your favorite drink? I can tell you what mine is, but I want to know what yours is.
Mine is definitely a margarita, a spicy margarita.
Frozen or on the rocks?
I take them both, whatever's available.
Do you have a certain flavor or do you like a swirl?
I prefer a frozen,
okay.
But that's you make it good. Some people don't make it. There's too much ice and not enough liquor. So
okay. Good point. Now going back to the frozen margarita, sugar or salt around the rim?
Oh, salt every day of the week.
I like sugar. Now, do you like the twist? I like the swirl with the strawberry and the mango.
No, I just like a traditional margarita. You don't change things that aren't broken.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
If it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Okay. All right. And you, Miss Melinda?
I'm a white wine drinker for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're definitely, when we all get together to come enjoy the Brahmas game, let's all get a drink. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Perfect.
Well, now that we're wrapping things up, I've been asking y'all tons of questions. Y'all can get one question and see how it goes from there.
All right. One question to ask you.
Yes, ma'am.
What's your daughter's phone number?
Oh my gosh. I could give that to you off air. She'll probably have a fit. But yes, and she has a similar problem that your son does. She looks very young. So she's 25 going on 26 in the next couple of months. July 7th is her birthday. So if he's into numbers, 7/7, that's her birthday. But she looks a lot younger than her age. So
yeah, same with
Brad. But I will definitely give you that number.
Yeah. Okay, so that was my question.
Okay.
Well, this is our first year with San Antonio. What's your predictions for the rest of the season as far as turnout, and what do you think it's going to be like?
Well, to give you a little info, so we had close to 13,000 attendance that Sunday, which is Easter Sunday at 11 o'clock in a very Catholic dominated city, right? So the fact that we got that many people to attend tailgating and to attend the game is amazing. I know we were ranked second out of the 4 games that were played. and the other team had 14,000. We had 13,000. So I think we did excellent. San Antonio is definitely a football city. So I expect that the numbers are only going to go up from here. And I expect an amazing season. I know the championship was here in San Antonio last year, and this year it's going to be in St. Louis. So my prediction, RC Woods on Smoking Guns podcast here today, is we're going to the championship, and we are going to see y'all in St. Louis at the championship game. So those are my predictions. How about yours?
My prediction.
It's hard because I don't know anything about the other teams that merged. Like I never followed the USFL, so I don't know. You know, sometimes you know players' names from. So I don't know, but I agree with Miss Melinda. Just the energy that I can just see because I follow all the social media because that's the only way that I'm connecting with the team at the moment is through the social media. So I think it's a different feel. It's kind of good. So yeah, we could be the dark horse.
Yeah, they didn't give us enough credit in the preseason. I think they're going to surprise some people.
I know. I saw some ranking they had a second last.
I know.
I don't like that ranking at all.
No, I didn't like that.
But that's okay. I'd rather be the underdog and prove them wrong, right? Than have a target on our back and everyone's gunning for us. I think we definitely surprise them.
Yeah.
Well, definitely follow us on Smoking Guns podcast. Also, if you see my shirt, it's the Brahma Mamas. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to incorporate female. Look at that. Everyone show us your t-shirt. There we go. Love it. So I'm trying to incorporate females in football and community. So if anyone, again, comes to tailgating, we are collecting cans for our food bank. We're trying to give back to the community. We're really trying to unify a lot of the super fans that we have. So if you come and join us tailgating, we would love to have you meet some of the fans, definitely interact, take pictures. Is there anything as we're wrapping up that you would like to tell San Antonio besides go Brahmas, horns forward?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Horns forward.
Yeah.
No, just keep supporting the team because I remember asking Brad just the other night what it was like with the crowd, and he said it was just unbelievable because he thought the same. I say that very Catholic town, Easter Sunday, 11 a.m. There's going to be nobody there, and he just said it was electrifying, and the crowd just makes such a difference. So get behind the Brahmas. There's no other football on, so yeah, get yourself a ticket and get down there.
That's right.
Great. Well, I will say I'm in section 110, which is right behind the players. So I'm going to wave to them and I'm going to say, I've talked to your mama. And so, you can tell them a lot of the players from the different leagues call me Mama RC, which I think is a great compliment, because I feel like I want to be the team's mom. I want to be the team's cheerleaders because you both know that behind every football player, there's a mom going to practice, taking them to the games, washing the uniforms, getting their snacks ready, cheering them on. So kudos and thank you for supporting your sons because now they're our players, right? And so I'm going to feel like I'm their second mom. They get sick. You can always call me and say, Miss RC, can you make some of that chicken soup? And I will make it for them and I will bring it to them. I have no problem with that. We have some traditions. If they get sick, I'll put Vicks all over them from head to toe, right? That's what we feel like. Vicks can cure everything. So Just know that the city of San Antonio, Mama RC, we're here when you're not to take care of your sons.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you again, San Antonio, for watching. Come on and cheer on your San Antonio Brahmas, and we love you. So usually at the end of our podcast, I say bang, bang, and then Leo goes. So it's kind of odd that he's not here, but goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, San Antonio. See you at the next game.
Bye, Brahmas. Horns forward.
Horns forward. So we'll see if Leo can come back on.